All right, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome back to CVO Crypto. Going to go ahead and just kind of jump into it. I'm going to go over Bitcoin, take a look at Bitcoin dominance, the CME futures gap. We're going to probably take a look at Ethereum. I think on the list today I was going to look at BNB as well, one of the altcoins. There's one that we posted in the Discord with CRV and a couple others when we were kind of looking at a lot of head and shoulders popping up around Friday before we actually got this pullback here in general. But taking a look at this, right? So for anybody that has been watching over the last few weeks here, we've been basically, watching this range with Bitcoin. So what we're looking at here, actually, these levels here, this line coming in right here, this is actually the range lows of the next range above us, right? So this is pretty much the December range that we were in right here. If we do re-enter this, we're essentially, heading towards that $47,000 point of control right here, and then, overall looking for the range highs of that, but can't really get to there until we start breaking into that, right? And that basically comes in right where we've been getting this major rejection at, about $46,000. Our current range highs, I believe, is right here. So we're kind of like right in the middle between the two. We're coming in, getting that rejection right here. And then our range lows are about $38,000, give or take. And in between here, all right, and this is kind of what we're looking at for some of these key levels of support. We did, get rejected here at this previous range low. So, right, so that's a big level of resistance here. More importantly, we got rejected at the range highs of our current range coming in here. All right, so the range high, so about 45K. So that'd be the range high coming in right here. So we got rejected from here. And essentially from there, your natural target from that rejection from the high, or either a bounce from the low, is going to be your point of control. And our point of control for the current range we are in, which is a volume target, is right here at about 41,900, basically where we've kind of just been holding and hugging. This level is also a quarterly key level, so that's a big average, high time frame average of price as well. So we've got some really good support where we're at. Issue is that we're really holding it, and essentially when you're consolidating right above support, a lot of times you do lose it. Similar to kind of how we were coming up here, we were consolidating right under resistance and we ended up taking out. Not a guarantee by any means, but just something to pay attention to. And realistically, just you lose this quarterly key level, which is about 42, let's just call it 42K, because that is the point of control as well. If you lose that point of control, you're pretty much looking back down towards the range lows. Not that that's, a guarantee either. So before we get down to those range lows, you got a couple of pit stops, right? Not saying we have to make it all the way down, but we do still have this previous weekly pivot right here. And this is also where the CME futures gap still resides from last week, I believe. It's about 40,500, 40,600 in that area. So losing this level, this would be the next stop for me. I imagine many people would be looking down to this level as it is that CME futures gap. And if we come down to here, this is probably where, we're probably going to see people loading up a little heavy in this region. To me, that also really, gives me the idea that we probably would see a little bit more of a pullback. Bounce off of this 24 key level is a really big possibility. And this level right here is about $39,800. You can imagine what that'll do to everybody's psyche if we come down and break through 40K again, right? Although just because 40K, just a big rounded number, there's not necessarily, a ton of reason behind why 40,000 even would hold. This $300 less, however, does have a reason, right? This is 2 years high time frame price average here. So this is a big level to come and back test and hold as support. And if you do remember, we were looking at these were our doomsday levels. Doomsday levels were right here, right? This is when we were trading below this, I think back below like the 4th of February, before we came up and took it out. We were looking for, to consider more upside here. We were looking to regain this 39,500 up towards about 41K. And we basically just blasted right through that, came up to that point of control, essentially, ran up to the range highs, and then now we're sitting on the point of control once again. So coming back down and back testing this 2-year key level right here, totally on the table as well, and wouldn't be anything but putting in that higher low. So this is the deal, right, for Bitcoin. And I talk about Bitcoin the most, right? Although more of an active altcoin trader myself, but we have to pay attention to Bitcoin as Bitcoin dictates this whole market, right? just like on Friday, right? You're seeing this possible pullback coming out of Bitcoin. You're seeing head and shoulders, basically coming across, a ton of the altcoins. You can assume that if we pull back to this level, that the altcoins are going to, see a 10, 15% pullback, and vice versa, right? If we start losing this level for Bitcoin, this is almost, a guarantee that the altcoins are going to drop another 10% at least, right? 8 to 10, right? Whatever Bitcoin drops, essentially the altcoins see double, depending on the market cap. So that's why, as much as possible, I try to look at and pay attention with Bitcoin as well. So, but at the end of the day, we did come through. We put in a higher high on a daily time frame, right? So now we're looking to put in that higher low, and essentially, so far, we do have, our low, our high, our higher low. Obviously, we've got our higher high. Wherever this new low comes in, it can come all the way, honestly, back down to this weekly NPOC, which is a major volume target at about $37,000, and that would still be putting in a higher low than this previous one here. So once again, not saying it has to come down to these levels, but if you start losing these four are really what's got my eye. And we've gone over these levels, multiple times at least the last week or so, basically every day in these live streams. So levels really haven't changed from here. The range highs, as we're like building it out, sometimes they can kind of adapt a little bit. So originally this was a little lower, but realistically, you got the rejection at the range high. Right now we're holding that point of control. We lose that point of control, we're going to the range lows. Theoretically, right? That's what you'd be anticipating. You might not make it all the way down because we do have a ton of support in between here. And even the level we're on, this could turn around from right here. So if this does hold, then we'd still be looking towards the upside here. And realistically, you want to see these levels right here. Very simple move to the upside is you want to break this 46K, let's just call it for good measure right here. But at this point, you're going to be breaking into that previous monthly range. And then your natural target from there is that $47,000 NPOC. You've got a big level above us as well, right at 47.7. That's a yearly key level, right? So we got, which once again, just been going over these for quite a while now. But you got this 12-month key level coming in right above us. This is just a little bit above where the NPOC is over here as well, which is a major volume target. So you got these two next levels right there. But this 47.7 is going to come in, pretty decently once we get above this level right here. So until then, we're trying to build out this uptrend right here. You start making lower lows. Obviously, we got to reevaluate as that kind of time comes. That's the only one of the bigger issues with these big moves right here is that you got a lot of ground below you where you could still come down, pop in your higher low, and still be creating an uptrend overall, right? But in the grand scheme, anybody getting in at these highs or anything like that, you're going to be subject to these possible 10-15% pullbacks, and then same thing for altcoins, right? You're going to be looking at twice the amount there. But right now we're holding pretty well on this quarterly key. Lose that CME futures gap, weekly pivot right below, 2-year key level below that, and then you got your monthly open, which I think at the monthly open is also an NPOC as well. So the monthly open is double stacked down there. So monthly open is really what we want to stay above. Come down here, say we drop back down to this level, hold that as support, take off. Like I said, you'd still be putting in that higher low right here. A lot of people will be really freaking out, right? Thinking that we're going to probably head back down to 30s. If you do lose this level on the way down, then we really got to start, paying attention and reevaluating, start putting in a lower low past this, $36,000 350 area. And we may just very well be going back down to these lows about $33,000. And as you know, too, there's a weekly NPOC that did not get filled while we were down there in the doomsday area, which we were looking for, right? These were our two targets that we were looking for. One of them obviously was basically our low so far. We do have the weekly down there. And once again, not saying that these levels are guaranteed and that we're going straight down here, but this is one of those, you plan your reactions, so to speak. So if you start to lose these levels, you don't just go mental, where some of these have some big meaning behind them. And, if we do drop down to $32,000 for whatever reason, you wake up to that tomorrow, know that that's probably going to be around the low area, right? And then that's, panic selling or doing anything at that point probably isn't going to be the best idea. But getting ahead of ourselves in that aspect, right? We still have a good amount above us. just do want to bring those up, right? These are big volume targets. Magic Internet Money and I, we paired up back in December and about Christmas Eve, right when our very first live stream we did in the Discord, right? We do private Wednesday and Sunday night live streams. This move right here, he mapped out this entire thing, gave us 2 targets only, right? And that was pretty much it. And one of them was met there, and not because of just sheer. That was support back in July. That was this and that. Like these are volume targets that generally get back tested. This one was a monthly, so this one's got a little bit more weight than our weeklies here. But for the most part, these tend to get hit. So if we start coming back down near them, just be aware of those levels. But once again, we're not there yet, and we can very well still come out of this. We still are holding support very well. So a turnaround from here is still in the cards. Just putting everything out there so you have a clear idea of at least what I'm looking at, right? Like you obviously everybody in here do exactly what you want to do, not financial advice. This is just one dude on the internet. Take a look at other guys, I guess, see what they're putting out if you want, and then obviously try to create your own views by pulling up trading views free. You guys can all do this. All right, and that's pretty much Bitcoin, right? So it's really still the same as, except for we actually came back down and actually have been holding this point of control. I don't have the PO, it's too much wording to put on here, but this is, basically double stacked as point of control for the current range we're in and the quarterly key level. So we are obviously seeing a little move to the upside here. I know there's some looming, news out there in the world right now, and you got the stock market and all this. So I'm sure when the market's open today, here in about an hour and a half, there may be some, depending on how the stock market goes, I guess, you can correlate that a little bit. But in reality, throw an alert on this key level, and regardless of what happens anywhere else, if we lose this key level, we're probably heading down. Right? That's just as simple as it is. And whether that means it's because of the news that comes, whatever that meaning is behind it to you, that's for you to, I guess, indicate. And that's really the one thing I'd be looking for is if we lose this level on a closing basis, which we really haven't done, right? We've wicked below. Maybe we closed one candle there and then we shot back in. So pretty good sign there. And obviously, like I said, we are getting a little small lift off right now. And basically that's it. We're kind of stuck right here between these 2 levels. Lose this one, we're looking to the downside at these couple right here. All 3 of these have really big Y's behind them. Above us to the upside, we really want to come up and reclaim this $45,000. This is going to take us. This is the range high currently. It's going to take us out of that. We enter this level right here, and that's entering into the previous range. And you got a natural target of about 47,000 is our point of control, I believe. And then we've got this key level right here. So step by step, taking it level by level at the moment, and that's kind of what we're looking for here in Bitcoin. Like I said, with the dominance for BTC, so similar to anything else, right? You could pull a range on this stuff, and basically we were at our range lows right here. You re-enter this range, and you got basically 2 natural targets before your high here. You come up to this EQ, right, middle of the range, your point of control, and then essentially you're going to be looking for those range highs afterwards. So we took over this point of control right here, currently about 42.81%. And more than likely, we're heading up to the range highs, about 44% for Bitcoin. So let's see how things go at that point when we get there. But pretty likely here we're gonna run up to this level at least. If you do start pulling back from here, then the altcoins are gonna have a nice little run, right? So we've seen this in the past too, where you get this pretty decent. We were looking for something like this to happen around November, December, where the Bitcoin dominance kind of rallied back up towards 50%. And then basically just had a huge drop. And not to say that that's exactly how it happened, but in order to get a really, really nice altcoin move and rally, a lot of times Bitcoin's got to build up this dominance again, for a short period so that it's able to just completely just drop to the downside. Because when we get these big drops to the downside on BTC dominance, this is when altcoins just absolutely go nuts. So it's a little bit of an ebb and flow, with something to pay attention to. And like I said, about 44% is going to be the top of the range for the dominance here. So we'll pay attention to see how things play out with that. And dominance here can, even though it's going up, the price can be going up or down. That's the only issue with dominance, is that it's not a good indicator or an indicative move of where Bitcoin's going to go. You just know it's going to be moving, right? So, we could just get this pump out of Bitcoin, move it up to that 47K. Altcoins get dragged up with it by USD, but not necessarily getting moved up in BTC value. Then you get up to this, get a rejection out of the dominance, start falling, and the altcoins take a nice move up. You really want, if you're an altcoin trader, you want this chart to be going down. So this one is, in a really clear uptrend for now. And we'll be looking for that. You got your CME gap, like we were just talking about, right? I know everybody's really looking for this one. So it's a very interesting concept, because we did the same thing back in July of last year, where we left this gap and we came really close to it, and then we basically took off, and any pullback for the foreseeable future was kind of referenced to like, oh yeah, we're looking, it's going to come down, fill that gap, going to come down, fill that gap, and it did not come down and fill that gap until 2 weeks ago. It's like 7 months later. So, and there's multiple CME gaps that have never been filled. So here's are perfect examples, right? 24 to 26K, 18 to 19K. There's one right here at 10K. I think there's one at 7 and 3. So not saying these have to get filled by any means. Us being this close to the price action, and if we do lose that, that key level that we were just talking about, which was about 40, which is exactly pretty much where we're sitting at as support. Once again, that's that point of control as well. If we do lose that one, then we would head probably down to this weekly pivot, which is exactly where that CME futures gap is. So, like I said, if we do hit that level, I think everybody be loading the boat a little bit. But don't be surprised if we do pull back to this 39, this 2-year level, back test that big boy, and then we take off from there, right? This would kind of shake everybody up a little bit. We'd start seeing less than 40K again. Once again, this is big ifs, right? If this happens. But do be aware that there's some really nice levels below us. This monthly open is also a big volume target, as this is an NPOC as well, back from this week, the first week of February here. We were looking at BNB in the Discord group, and this was the other day. In general, this is what we're looking for anyways. But on Friday, right, like I said, everything was basically printing a head and shoulders in some way or another. A lot of times when you see these on Bitcoin and Ethereum, like some of the bigger alt projects, obviously, especially on a bigger time frame, when they're really obvious, a lot of times they don't really play out too well. But when you start seeing them on like altcoins, across the board, there's something to just kind of pay attention for. So we were kind of like keying some things up here, and we saw it on BNB. And then essentially, just on that aspect, right? If you're going to measure this out, this would give you, pretty much a target down here. This is also our golden pocket, as well as our monthly open down here for BNB. So looking to see if we get down to these levels, and once again, just kind of planning our reactions here, right? So we were holding support at this 12-month key level. Previous to that, lost that, and then now we're sitting basically hitting our head on this quarterly key level above us. So definitely got some supports right below us, but this would be an area of interest, which is not really too far away from where the price action's already come down to 3%. So for anybody looking to get into anything with BNB or anything of that nature, that's the levels that we're looking for there. But essentially, we come back up, we reclaim this quarterly, we got this yearly above us. You get back up above this yearly, and there's really not much in between that and 458. So that would be BNB there. Let's take a look at ETH real quick. Kind of similar to Bitcoin. These orange lines right here, right? This is our range low. Got your range high currently. Basically just based off the range low right here, and launched from there. I've got a monthly open right here. You got your 2-year key level coming in right here, and your 1 year. So the 2-year and 1 year is actually coming in pretty close together. And then you got that range high right above that. So we're holding this key level really well. And obviously we're getting a little candle out of that right now. We'll see how that kind of transpires. But realistically, same thing applies, right? You lose this 24 month, you're probably heading back down to this monthly open right here. Now this would imply, right, it's only about a 6% drop. So you probably got to imagine that if that happens, that Bitcoin's taking a 3% drop. and that 3% drop out of Bitcoin puts it at that CME futures gap, right? So then you got the next one down here is basically the point of control for ETH, major volume target. Once again, not saying we, by all means, like you really want to hold above this monthly open, and these monthly opens do come in with a lot of support there as well. And this 14% move out of ETH, that's probably going to be roughly around the same, deal for Bitcoin. So that's kind of like as we're, if we start seeing really lower levels out of BTC, then I'd be looking for these on ETH. And then your worst case for the short term, unless you start making some lower lows, you come back down all the way to the range low, pop in a double bottom, so to speak, and continue from there. Now that is just the bearish outlook, right, as we're looking at this, but there's also bullish upside as well. And it's still pretty much the same as last week, really. Looking to reclaim, at this point, we were holding this pretty well, this 12-month, but just as anything else, like I said, we're starting to print these, head and shoulders all over the place on these shorter term time frames. So this is only a 4-hour time frame for this, and this is the thing, head and shoulders sometimes, a lot of times don't necessarily play out all the way through. So anybody that's looking for that exact target is probably looking for this $2,700 level. But if we do lose this key level right here, we're probably coming down to this one right here. So for anybody just trading that head and shoulders, that would be great if you do come down to here. But it's just kind of something I always just kind of line up with other things as well. Not necessarily looking for that exact move. Sometimes they line up, but a lot of times they don't. But yeah, so we got this 2-year key level right there. And same thing, you can put an alert on this trend line on TradingView. Once again, TradingView is free. Or you can actually, just pay attention to the price actions here, right? 28.70. You can go into CoinMarketCap, your app on your phone, CoinGecko. You can put an alert when the price action comes down to there, crosses it, closes below it, whatever. It just gives you a good idea. And then if we start closing below that, there's a good chance we're probably heading here. So whether or not you're gonna, exit positions on that idea or anything like that, or just, mentally just prepare yourself. And that's kind of sometimes the most important thing for most people is that you don't have to be, dumping your positions and all this and all that, and in hopes that we get here or in fear that we drop down to these levels, because we may not, right? We could just turn right around, bust through here, and essentially continue. But at least if you see these, a lot of people end up panic selling at support because they don't realize where we're at. And if you already held down to certain levels, panic selling at the monthly open, which you're probably not even aware of when it comes down, or panic selling at, a 2-year key level of support, which you don't know about, at the time or anything like that. You just know that it's dropped below 3K and it's probably going to go down to 2K for whatever reason. That's the mental space that a lot of people run through. And the market will chop you up in that fashion, right? So, obviously, like I said, take any information for what it's worth, replicate this chart if you can, if you want. And obviously that's the stuff we teach you in the group, in the Discord group, right? So when we go through a lot of this more in depth, Magic Internet Money and I, last night we had a couple of just recorded videos that we went through because it was a Super Bowl, but generally Wednesday and Sunday we go through a 2-hour almost, market update. And then generally we're in that group all day, every day as well. So for anybody that's interested, like I said, it's Magic Internet Money and I. We created this leading crypto Discord group. So I merged that with my Telegram group that was already existing. So give that a check. In here, like I said, you get altcoin updates from me primarily. Magic's got Bitcoin updates just basically on lock. We got live streams and videos just from us exclusively for the members. We got the Academy here as well. So for anybody that knows nothing about trading, nothing about looking, you don't even got to actively come in here and day trade or anything like that, right? Just being able to understand what you're looking at on a chart when we're posting it or when others post it, because we have a lot of active traders in here as well. Bitcoin charts only. Like I said, we've got, probably about 20 just active, day traders all day, every day from across the world. Just posting up charts and setups and updates. And it ranges from, the hourly to the daily to the 15-minute to the 5-minute. Some of them are on the 1 minute. It's just really interesting information there. Got a BTC chat, and one of our bigger things here that we're coming up with here is we got Burmax here is our order flow and open interest specialist. So he's going to be basically preparing templates, training sessions, and everything like that to help you understand how to read and utilize order flow and open interest in here. So very interesting stuff there. Got a classroom setting where we go through and basically offer how to build charts. We do chart builds completely, all kinds of good stuff there. And then you get your money shots, right? Magic's usually in there pumping out 50% moves all the time. Anyways, that's my little pitch there. If you're interested, the link is in my bio if you'd like to try that out. Do have a special coming out later on today for anybody too, so keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, ETH, pretty much ETH here, right? So we got the 2-year key level right here. You lose that, we're probably heading down to this monthly open, about 26.82. Break this key level to the upside, and then we're looking up. And then realistically, there is not much in the way between 3,200 and up towards this area right here. And up here, it got stacked. Right, it's stacked area. You got a volume target up here, an NPOC from December. We've got the golden pocket, and we got a quarterly key level. So big opportunity once we break 3,200 though. That's the key. That's the driving force, right? So, and this is what analysis really comes down to. I know everybody's a lot of people will state technical analysis doesn't work, or you're saying it could go up and it could go down, and very much so. Yes, that is exactly what we're saying. But once again, there's 2 ways to do this, and you can plan and have an idea of where these levels are and what to anticipate when something is going to happen, right? Like if we lose this, you can anticipate going down to these 3, right? You break through here, you break through 3,200, and you can anticipate pretty much coming up to here pretty quickly. And I guess the alternative is, YOLO and hold if you just want to do otherwise, because this is about probabilities, right? So the probabilities of us breaking this level and not going down to here is pretty low, right? That's just kind of how it is. So once again, entertainment purposes, of course. But yeah, pretty interesting to just kind of note that we're stuck between 2 pretty big key levels here for Ethereum. Lose that, going up, we're going down, and basically to continue to the upside, you want to see this $3,100 broken and held, and realistically 32 is that level that's really going to gas us up. Not saying we're going to shoot straight up to here over a day, but we could probably see these levels over the course of a few weeks here on ETH. So let's take a look at Quant. I know everybody loves Quant, and Quant was another one that actually I think it's probably dropped lower now, but it had a head and shoulders popping up on that one too. And then it lined up perfectly with the monthly key level. Let's see how it ended up. Yeah, so a really good example here of that head and shoulders deal, right? So you could probably argue at the time that this would have been a head and shoulders here, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then your measured move, granted, if you took profit there, that still hit, it just went lower. Measured move, give or take, was basically right down to this key level, right? Monthly key level. Came down, basically ran it back, but since then has dropped since. But if you took this as a trade with your profit level right there, then that would have worked out pretty nicely. But a lot of times, this was also an area that we were looking for in general. This key level was going to be that next level to the downside here. So now, however, losing this monthly key level, possibly coming back and back testing it, right? And that's what's something to kind of be aware of a lot of times is that you get a nice green candle at the moment, which is exciting and all that, but you see where we're getting some rejection here. And not to say we couldn't just come through here, but that's really what you want to see at this point is we want to regain this monthly key level right here to the upside of about $124 to continue heading higher. Otherwise, we're basically in this this downtrend over here, and we're possibly eyeballing this monthly open. At the time, from the high, this was a pretty big drop from start to finish. This would be a 40% fall from the high. At this point now, we're probably about 20%. Once again, that's going to imply that Bitcoin, the entire market, is going to be coming down together. So that's all these things correlate together. So that's why it's important to pay attention to Bitcoin. Leverage trading this market is always a hassle because of that reason alone. Right? Anybody that leverage trades altcoins, more power to you. But it's so tough, especially in the downtrend with Bitcoin, because you have to pay attention to Bitcoin. So a lot of people, tend to, just leverage trade. Like I only leverage trade Bitcoin and Ethereum because if you try anything else, on occasion we'll do something else just to, whatever. But in any other aspect, if you're going to leverage trade an altcoin, it's just so much of a higher risk because you have to pay attention so closely to Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 5%, your altcoin drops 10%. So it's a little rough there. But spot trading obviously is a lot better for altcoins compared. But yeah, so Quant got that rejection up here, and basically re-entered the range. So same deal, right? We got a range low, range high, these orange lines. You got your point of control actually lines up with this monthly open. So we got double stack support right here. And theoretically, you come back into this range, you lose the highs, you pretty much are coming back to that point of control. So it's likely if we don't start closing above this level. And once again, you can throw an alert right here. Right click, add alert for when that level gets crossed, and it's very so you don't miss something, or if price action starts moving over it, you get alerted, and you can actually come back to it and just kind of take a look at it. But yeah, if things start pulling down with BTC, then I'd be looking for that monthly open. These two levels right here for Quant are under $100. It's probably not the worst area to DCA bid into. Other fact is that this would be the range low, so you could be coming in at the low. As long as you hold that, more than likely we'll start turning around. You're going to re-hit your point of control. You start re-tackling the range high, and this range is a massive range, right? It's like 50% from high to low, not even more. So 77%. So that's why comparatively, that's just spot. You don't even have to trade leverage on a lot of these altcoins unless you want to short it, I guess. But yeah, so once again, not saying it, it's 100% guaranteed we're going there, but right now the probabilities are high because we have lost this monthly key level, right? And essentially as well, this is more than likely the middle of the range as well. So if we lose that EQ, all right, so we're holding the EQ, so which is about the middle of the range right here, about 120. So hold this level, get back above this monthly, and we probably can start anticipating these range highs again. But very, very, we're kind of on some thin ice right here. So for Quant, you start losing this level, this 119. There's really nothing in between there and the point of control. And once again, this point of control, this monthly open, this is a big volume target. This is like a big magnet, especially when the price action gets really close to it. So just keep your eyes on that. Not saying obviously dump all your Quant or anything like that. But just be aware that if we come back down to these lows, we're talking about $100 Quant, $85 Quant, but that's also implying that you're probably going to see a 10% drop out of Bitcoin. So you're talking about $38,000, $38,000 Bitcoin, in that realm. Like I said, for anybody that's interested in joining our new Discord group, Magic Internet Money, if you're not giving him a follow here on TikTok, you should. Guys like the Bitcoin King. He knows Bitcoin's chart inside and out. It's pretty amazing, actually. Like I said, we do exclusive member-only market updates every Wednesday night and Sunday night for about 2 hours, where you can ask questions. It's nobody's in there, nobody's trolling, anything like that. So a lot easier to do like a classroom setting, very interactive in that aspect. We also do offer classroom settings as well, where we go through here, we'll build out charts. The last couple of charts Magic built out with everybody was like XRP, Filecoin, ADA, all kinds of things of that nature there. We've got, like I said, you're going to get read-only updates, so not lost in the chat. This is just my setups here, very clear ideas behind them. You're going to get Magic's updates right here for Bitcoin. So essentially you got like pretty heavy, focus on altcoins, heavy focus on Bitcoin only. You're going to have our live streams and video updates that are exclusive to the members only. We got an academy in here with multiple videos, right? Teaching you basically all the ins and outs if you know nothing about building a chart, looking at a chart, trading in general, and whatever the case may be. Very, very useful stuff there. And that's actively getting added to daily. And then we've got, like 20 just beast mode traders in here all the time. I mean, there's plenty of people trading, but the people that are constantly posting charts as well, they're putting some really, really great setups here in the BTC charts only here. And then order flow, which is probably something that you're not going to get anywhere else. We've got a order flow and open interest specialist, Max, right here. He's over in Dubai. And he's going to be leading the charge on getting everybody up to speed on open interest and order flow. So if that interests you as well, give this a check. This is the link is in my bio here on TikTok. And then aside from that, I think that's pretty much all we had to go over today, right? So really just paying attention for Bitcoin's move. Bitcoin loses that key level. We know what to expect for the rest. And yeah, so don't panic, plan, right? Just plan your reactions. That's really all we can do, right? So still holding this, but like I said, we're nowhere that we haven't been over the last few days here. So this could be a pretty volatile day, as we do have, like I said, some looming news and things going on around the world, and all those things could pile up and cause either it's could go really both ways, right? So that's the thing. Like, to me, I don't pay attention too much to to the news in the sense of like expecting, right? Like, to me, I'm not just going to expect the whole market to crash today because of what's going on across the world. We've already had a little bit, and this is the other thing too, is that, just interesting to note that we have a pretty big conflict, possible conflict going on in the world. And, the crypto market, which is the most risk on asset, in my opinion, only saw an 8% pullback so far, I guess. But, to me, it's such a normal. Thank you for ever sent the teddy bear. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, everybody. There's 214 viewers right now on Valentine's Day on 214. So I think that's pretty cool. But, this is just a normal pullback, realistically. I mean, even if we had no news at all come out, on Friday, and you just had an 8% pullback out of Bitcoin, it's I don't feel like most people would shake their head at that and think that anything that's not just normal. Yeah. So, and do remember that we are coming off of about a 50% pullback already. Not to say we can't go lower, but what I am saying is that you can't really anticipate that till we start losing these levels right here. So, big quarterly level, big point of control, volume target right here, right? Lose that, we're heading to this pivot. You got a CME futures gap right there. A lot of people are going to probably load up there. In my opinion, if we hit this level, we're probably going a little bit lower because this is going to shake up everybody, right? We drop down to this 2-year key level that probably nobody's looking at, and it's $300 right below 40K. You break 40K, and it's just the same thing. Everybody goes mental. Everybody will be looking for lower. And it's very possible we come down. We just back test this 2-year key level, and we turn it around. So once again, take this grain of salt, however you want to take it. Just be aware of the levels. My goal here is obviously to provide a different view from whatever. And then at the end of the day, take your own research. And what that means is obviously do some digging. Get a trading view account if you want. Pull these things up yourself. If you want to learn how to indicate and locate these levels that we're looking for, the ranges, all the things of that nature, these key levels, these pivot, the monthly opens. Like I said, join the Discord group. Link is in the bio. I do these live streams every Monday through Friday at least around 7:30 a.m. I try to get on here, so do give a follow and tune in for the coming days here. I'm sure we'll have some really fun. If today ends up being wild, I'll probably jump back on later on today for like a midday live stream or something about 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. Maybe I'll get Magic Internet Money to join me, and we can kind of go through and just kind of answer some questions, right? Be a little bit more personable. So, yeah, we'll see how everything goes. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.